What's going on, everybody? Josh Carter here, One Objective Outdoors. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a bait that I've gotten a few questions about from a last night fishing video that I did. And we've had a few guys message us about my Thunderstick setup. So we're going to dig into that. Stay tuned. Alright guys, like I said at the beginning of this video, we're going to be talking about the Thunderstick. Now, this is a bait that has been thrown around Smith Mountain Lake and probably other lakes all around the country at nighttime during the shad spawn. And the shad spawn, if you don't know much about it, is it's a magical time. During the early mornings, it can be great. If you can find good shaded areas, it can be great. Most of the time here around Smith Mountain, it's in May. Into June as the year goes on, especially at nighttime with the bass coming up, it gets later and later and later as it goes on. But first part of May, mid-May, depends on how the weather is. This year it's been kind of weird with the cool nights and all the rain and all that's kind of changed things up. But most of the time, like I say, it's May. After the spawn, a lot of the bass starting to pull out, wanting to feed, and they're pulling up on these rocky points, rocky banks, and are just busting these shad up as they're spawning. So, but as you're going down the bank, you'll hear stuff just blowing up. You just hear boosh, boosh, and like a sucking sound on the water. And, it's either striper or bass up there. You'll get catfish up there too. But there's several different baits that I like to throw when they're doing that. And one of them is the Storm Thunderstick here. It's a pretty cheap bait. But it's like I say, it's not a very expensive bait. But if you lose it in the rocks, it don't hurt the wallet too much. So, but there's a few things that I like to do to it just to make it a little more, I want to say the hookup ratio a little bit better, and plus my time on the water using it a little bit easier. So, but the first thing I do when I get the Thunderstick is I change the hooks. I change the snap rings, and I just put, like here I got a red hook and I got a regular hook in the back here. These are mustads. I'll go with this. I'll go with triple grips. I change up different kind of hooks, but I always change up my hooks because the ones that they send on the most time are like a saltwater style hook. This is like a saltwater bait, a striper bait, and I'll change it up. And the thing is too, the saltwater hooks are good, but they're not as sharp as you could get like with a mustad or owners or Gamakatsus or any of that stuff. So always change up your hook and your snap rings. Get you some better snap rings on there. I change the front one too. A lot of times put just a better snap ring on. That's personal preference on snap rings. You don't have to do that, but I always do. These are just a lot sharper hooks because what happens is they swat at it a lot of times. You don't always get it, or they don't always get it. So you want a really sharp hook that's going to stick them. And I can change these hooks out through the night sometimes because if you start hitting rocks a lot, throwing it in the riprap, because I'll tell you here in just a little bit how to throw it, but you start getting hung in a riprap, you start dulling your hooks, and then you're going to start taking a chance of losing fish. So a lot of times what I like to do is have a couple of them with different hooks or the same hook setup, and then I will just change my bait, and then at night, the next night or whatever, I'll change all my hooks on my bait. So, but I throw these with braid, and the reason is because when you're throwing this bait, you're right on the riprap. Oh, let me change the camera here. Sorry. You're right up on the riprap. So you wanna. I know a lot of guys will throw fluorocarbon with them. They'll throw mono with them. But for me, when I'm right up on the riprap, because you're wanting this bait basically ticking the rocks on the riprap. You're getting right up against the bank, and you cast parallel, and you're bringing it back, and it's hitting the rocks, or the fish will hit it and sling it. I've had it to where they'll hit it so hard it'll sling it out the water into the riprap, and then you're hung up. So what I do is I throw braid on it. I throw a sunline braid. You can throw P-line and all that, whatever braid you want to throw on there. There's several different. I keep hitting this button here. There's several different braids that work really well, but most of the time it's like a 20-pound test braid up to 30-pound test braid. You don't have to go crazy with it. Now just know that the stripers, when they hit this thing, man, it's just a full-on fight. They are aggressive. So that's why it's important to have good hooks, because you don't want cheap hooks and they end up breaking the hooks off or whatever like that, or weaken them. And then when you do hang a bass, it could break off. So But I use braided line, and you'll see right here. Now, this is just an old setup. This is my old Revo SX, tried and true. This reel has been really great. So, but you see this bait, it's tore up. Now, that a lot of it's from fish, and some of it is from hitting riprap. I mean, you're gonna throw them in a riprap, but I don't have to tie as often with braid as I did with like mono or fluorocarbon and all that stuff. So I always throw this on braid. But I mean, other than that, when it comes to tricks and all that stuff, I don't do nothing crazy with it. I like a chrome with a black back. They got a pink, but it seems like the chrome or just the silver. Like if you don't need a whole lot of flash, you can just get the silver. They don't have all that, real good flash on it. Seems to work best for me. I keep it simple with it. I don't go crazy with all these different colors and all that stuff. It don't make sense. Just keep it simple night fishing, and you can go and catch a pile load of fish. Now, if you're out there tournament fishing, you just want to catch bass, if you start hanging in stripers, most of the time I pull off and go find a different spot, because it's like once the stripers are up there, I normally don't catch the largemouth like I was, or I won't catch no largemouth if it's just stripers up there. But that's the main thing, is just finding good riprap bank. If you're just starting to learn how to do it, just take your time. I like to cut all my electronics off. I don't run a lot of electronics at nighttime. Even with the live scope, I cut everything off and I ease on down the bank throwing this thing, just taking my time, trying not to hit the motor as much. And I use my power poles a lot, where I'll ease up, power pole down, and I'll just fish, make several casts for a while. But if you really listen closely, the fish will tell you where they're at. They'll be exploding, and you can just ease, and they'll stay in the general area. They'll work up and down a bank. So I mean, just take your time and throw this thunder stick. There's another little bait that I got that's very similar. I got this actually when you can throw the Mikeys, and that's another little bait that a lot of people like to throw. But the thing is with the Mikeys is right now they're anywhere between $35 to $100, depending on what color you get or what you find. So they're harder to get, and you can get the Mikey Juniors all day long, but the big Mikeys are harder to get. So, and there's other baits out there that are very similar, but this one's actually from Spro. I just started really throwing these, trying them out, so you might see these a little bit more in some of our night videos. I'm going to be getting out here soon, doing some more night fishing. It's been kind of chaotic here lately with me and James. We got some stuff going on with one objective, and then some vacation trips and kid sports and stuff. So, but we did the BFLs, we're doing them, but trying to get out and just fish between those times has been a little difficult this year, just with everything going on. So, anyways, getting back to the fishing. But I like throwing those baits. Wake baits are just phenomenal. You can get, even if you're missing, if they're just blowing up on this and missing it a lot, I'll kind of downsize and go to a like a Brat, like a Rapala Brat or something, or a Strike King square bill, just something you can work really slow across the top, and they'll hit it because it's a little bit small. They seem to hit it, but if they keep missing this, that's what I'll do. But that's basically my setup there. My rod is a Falcon Jason Christie frogging rod, which I don't know if I still make that rod or not, but we used to be on a Falcon team, and that's one of the rods I liked throwing, so I still got some of them, and it's a good frogging rod, but it's great it's got enough bow in it, because where I'm using braid, I want a little bit more, I want a faster tip, but it's also got that butt bone there, that midsection that's really strong, that can horse the fish in. So because you got to be careful with braid, because you can really rip the hooks out of their mouth. That's why a lot of guys like using fluorocarbon and all that stuff. It's got a little bit more stretch, but I just hate retying so much, or the chance of losing one trying to pop it, So but it's all personal preference, and it's just getting out there and time on the water and understanding that. But guys, right now is a perfect time, depending on where you're at in the country, to take advantage of that shad spawn. So make sure you get you some rest during the day and go out there and hit it at nighttime. Beat the heat, which, to be quite honest with you, it's felt like fall here in Virginia with the wind and the temperatures, or early spring. So it don't feel like summertime right now. But next week is supposed to warm up, so I'm hoping to get out on water and do another night fishing video. But if you guys enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Also in the comments down below, let me know what your favorite nighttime bait is during the shad spawn. I know there's other baits out there for fishing deep and all that, but during the shad spawn, what's your favorite nighttime bait? So We'll talk to you later, guys. See ya.